Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait? Gabriel Knight?
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
The Moonbeam residence looks like a cross between a voodoo temple and a Victorian fortune teller's parlor, by way of Haight Street. Gabriel doesn't want to rearrange Magentia's possessions. Magentia's room is unlikely to tell Gabriel much. The only receptive ears in the room belong to the voodoo and...
Please remain seated within the protective circle. There are spiritual currents in this room that I can't always control.
Thanks for the warning.
Gabriel figures that many men have picked up things in Magentia's parlor, but he'd rather not. Magentia's parlor is as open as it's going to get. It's an old-fashioned parlor lamp hung with crystals. It's already on, and Gabriel doesn't want to turn it off. It's a large cluster of quartz crystals.
I never could figure out what to do with those things.
There isn't much you can say to a bunch of crystals. Gabriel doesn't need the crystals. Magentia's bottles probably contain secret ritual concoctions. Whatever they do, Gabriel isn't interested.
No, thanks. I'll wait till I get home and grab a Coke.
The shelf holds a variety of unusual objects, the kind of thing Gabriel refers to as junk. The mask is made of carved wood and looks African. The mask doesn't seem to do anything. A glass lamp hangs from a chain over the table. A small blue chair sits to one side of the table. A small draped table displays a crystal ball. A large crystal ball is prominently displayed. It's not that easy to get a message from the crystal ball.
No, thanks. My dreams are bad enough.
A large, sluggish snake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently, Magentia is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with its original owner.
No, thanks. I'll just leave it right where it is.
Magentia's snakes looks a little sickly, but Gabriel would still rather not stick his hand in the cage. If Gabriel opened the cage now, he'd have to get close to that snake. Magentia Moonbeam is wrapped in gauze and silks. She looks vaguely mysterious and mysteriously vague. Gabriel really doesn't want to get on Magentia's bad side, or any side, for that matter.
She's really not my type. Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind.
Yes, I am a voodoo yen, a voodoo priestess.
Do you get many people in here on an average day?
Some days the need for my power is greater than others. But I have many regular clients who would be lost without my vision, Mr. Knight.
I can imagine. That's a great-looking mask on the wall.
It's from Africa, a gift to me from Queen Tabitha.
Do you know Dr. John well?
Oh, yes. We are old friends. Those with gifts are often drawn together.
So, let's say I came to you wanting to attract a woman. What would you advise?
Oh, I wouldn't think you'd have any trouble attracting women, Mr. Knight.
No. I guess I don't. So, what advice do you give your clients?
I tell them to follow the light, beware of the darkness, and always get expert spiritual advice from someone with the sight.
That's what I thought you'd say. Could I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Seeker.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
How'd you get into this business?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame! I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes. What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
I am a voodoo yen, and that is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
How many voodoo yens are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course the level and the power of the voodoo yens differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Tell me anything at all.
I haven't always lived in New Orleans. I came here from Kansas as a young woman.
Tell me anything at all.
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I am well versed in the magical art.
Tell me anything at all.
Many non-believers come to me. They are usually believers when they leave.
Tell me anything at all.
Dr. John sends me many seekers such as yourself.
Tell me anything at all.
I am happy here with my clientele and my snake.
I can't think of anything.
Very well.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Much of a voodoo yen's work is protecting her clients from the spell of others. I make special protective gree-gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
The recipes for voodoo charms have been handed down from master to apprentice for centuries.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I have told you all it is proper for you to know, Monsieur Knight.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
All right. Here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match, and a spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
Here's an old hoodoo Dr. Gree-gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue, and if the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times. You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
Here's a nasty one. To kill someone, get a sock or a shoe that belongs to that person. Put graveyard dirt in it and bury it under their front steps.
Does that work?
I don't know. I never tried it.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
To ensure the safety of your child, cut a lock of its hair while it is still a baby and keep it with you. The child must have all its hair before it can die.
These are interesting.
They're very old. The gree-gree that I prepare is much more powerful, I can assure you, but I don't give out those secrets.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
It is my favorite place in the world.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall, but in the old days they had ceremonies out in the wild, and they wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing. I used to go when I was an apprentice, sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John, sometimes at the lake, Lake Pontchartrain.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
Special ceremonies are performed, and the Loa come to ride the faithful.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
There is no night more powerful to voodoo magic.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They are too close.
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I don't know what else to say about that.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh yes, she was the first of the great voodoo queens.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
She ruled voodoo in New Orleans for 100 years, they say.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
I'm sure a historian could help you with that, if you want to know more.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know. Quite deadly in the wrong hands. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Tell me more about snakes.
Oh, I wouldn't want to give away my trade secrets.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Where'd you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her. She's named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Grimwald doesn't sound Egyptian.
I only know what the spirits tell me. Monsieur, I am sure they know better than we.
How'd you learn to handle Grimwald?
I told you a great voodoo queen taught me. She learned from Marie Laveau herself.
Ah, fascinating. Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scales.
Tell me anything at all.
Well, you have to be careful when handling a snake. They're more delicate than they look.
I'll bet. Tell me anything at all.
Many people are afraid of snakes. Isn't that silly?
Totally. Tell me anything at all.
Snakes shed their skins from time to time. You have to be especially careful of them when they're shedding.
I'll keep it in mind. Tell me anything at all.
Grimwald is very responsive to vibration. She doesn't recognize her name, but if I stomp 3 times, she looks right at me.
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
That would be swell.
I won't make you wait, Monsieur Knight. No matter what you see, do not be frightened.
I'll give it my best shot.
Magentia's movements are as liquid and sinuous as those of the snake. Except for shed snake skin, the cage is currently empty.
They are truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it. Does this mean anything to you?
These are magic symbols. Deep magic.
Really? Have you seen them before?
No?
Then how do you know they're magic symbols?
Seeker, my eyes are unveiled to see truly that which is in front of me.
Uh-huh. Thanks. Tons.
Magentia doesn't seem to know anything substantial about the pattern.
Could you look at this and tell me if you recognize anything about it?
That's from those voodoo murders, isn't it? That has nothing to do with me.
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about this photo?
I'd rather not look at it again.
Since Magentia has a snake, it might be the best not to discuss the snake scales with her.
Does this mean anything to you?
I can be of no help to you, Seeker.
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
What do you know about the Voodoo Murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
So you don't think the voodoo aspects of the case are fake?
Fake? Let me tell you about fake. If I get information through the grapevine and make use of it, is that fake? No, that is part of a voodoo yen's power. If people don't believe, there is not much I can do. But if they do believe, that is a part of my power too. But there are things, monsieur, things not even a little bit fake, I can tell you. Believe it or not, but stay away from it.
What do you mean? Do you know something about the case?
I work hard on fine-tuning my spiritual antenna, Monsieur Knight, and I get a clear signal from that direction. Beware.
Do you have any idea what Gabriel means?
No. No, I don't.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Are you sure you wouldn't consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
I told you I couldn't do that.
How about showing me your snake dance again?
It is inspiring, is it not? All right. I shall again amaze you.
You certainly will.
Gabriel grabs the shed snake skin while Magentia is otherwise occupied.
There. Truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it.
It's the shed skin from Moonbeam's snake. Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from Magentia Moonbeam's snake. The snake scales are hued brown. They don't match the scale from Lake Pontchartrain. Magentia wouldn't like Gabriel having that.
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
Open your mind and heart, and the way will be clear to you.
I'll give it my best shot.
Do what you will, if it harm none.
Count on it. Hello.
Bonjour, Monsieur Walker.
Oh, bienvenue, Madame Cazaunoux. Comment ça va? How you be feeling today?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Walker, I'm certain someone's buried a sleep note bag somewhere near my steps. I haven't slept a wink in weeks.
Oh, don't that beat all? Well, you're gonna need some easy night candles then.
Do you think that would help? I do hope you're right. I said 3 rosaries this morning for Our Lady's intervention.
Rosaries are good, sure enough. But you burn those candles too and you gonna whip any old no-sleep gree-gree, I tell you for sure.
Very well, Mr. Walker. Put them on my account and send them round to my house. Oh, and there's another thing. I didn't catch her at it, but I know Mrs. Lefebvre put stomachache powder in my tea at the last meeting of the Creole Grand Dames. Oh, I've been in misery.
You put 9 pinheads up in a little box, add a pinch of graveyard dust, and put it under her front porch step. That'll turn the trick back on Mrs. Lefebvre, and she'll be the one with the bellyache. I have the pins and the dust right here if you want them.
If the Blessed Virgin will grant me her protection, I'll be safe from these practitioners of evil.
Oui, madame. Though it don't hurt to be proactive none neither, now does it?
Naturellement, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Mais non, madame. It is nothing. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Monsieur Walker.
Can I ask you just a few more questions?
Whatever, man.
That customer of yours, the little old lady,
Customer?
the woman I saw in here, Madame Cazaunoux, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
It's important that I talk to Madame Cazaunoux. You see, I'm doing some research and...
I can't tell you anything about her.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What kind of snakes?
The kind they use in voodoo?
Pythons and boas. So I've heard.
Really? Do you have one?
Are you crazy? What would I want with a python?
Do you know anything about snakes?
I've already told you everything I know.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Marie? She's somebody from the old days. One of those folk tales. Oh, the tourists eat it up, non?
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
I don't know much, monsieur. Someone at Voodoo Museum can tell you all about her.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Like the ones in the voodoo rituals they do for the tourists?
Right.
I used to sell a few as souvenirs. The only one left is Willie Jr. over there. The old crocodile. Well, he's sort of a mascot now, him.
Can you tell me anything else about how animal masks are used?
They're curiosities, no? This is a curio shop.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting. About Willie Jr. Would you be willing to let him go?
Maybe. For $100.
$100? You gotta be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. are very close now. I could part with him for less.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $100.
Officer Mosley. I'll see if Miss Gedde wishes to speak with you again. Right this way, officer. Miss Gedde will be down shortly. Thank you.
What can I do for you, Detective?
The Gedde Library is as well put together as Malia herself. Classy, rich, flawless. Your creed. The only thing Gabriel wants to mess around with in this room is Malia herself.
I can rearrange things once I move in.
Harvard classics, Homer, Virgil. Maybe Malia wouldn't be impressed by a signed copy of one of Gabriel's novels. It would be rude to take that now, but Gabriel makes a mental note about it for the prenuptial.
Nice statue, I like it.
Thank you. It's The Rebellious Slave by Michelangelo.
Modern art?
More or less. It's a Picasso.
Genuine lion skin.
I can imagine doing things on that rug.
Excuse me?
Oh, nothing.
The chair side table probably costs more than Gabriel's shop. Ming Dynasty, perhaps? Dante's Inferno. Nothing like a little light reading.
Romantic.
I like firelight, Detective.
That would hurt. Roses and gardenias give the air a sweet taint.
Beautiful women. They must be relatives.
They are.
The only thing Gabriel cares to communicate with in this room is Malia herself. The leather on the chair is as soft as butter. Gabriel could feel like rawhide in comparison. Malia's chair is occupied. Not that Gabriel wouldn't mind joining its current occupant.
Undoubtedly proof that there is a God.
He'll have to get her to cooperate first.
I'm trying
Trying what?
to reach the truth.
Getting Malia Gedde to open up won't be easy.
This is quite a place.
Thank you. It's been in the family a long time.
Done anything exciting lately?
I'm sorry, but I'm very busy. Can we get to the point?
So, what's new with you?
Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure, Detective.
Do you receive all your visitors in this library?
Usually. I feel more comfortable surrounded by things that I love.
So you like books?
My books, my art, yes.
You know, we have a lot more in common than you might imagine.
I would love to chat about that sometime, Detective, but I'm really pressed at the moment.
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Miss Gedde?
I assume that's what you're here for, Detective.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm afraid I quite abhor them.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Saint-Gar means?
No, I don't. What does it mean, Detective?
That's confidential information, ma'am. Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
I have heard of her, of course, but that's about it.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Animal masks? I don't know what you mean.
Tell me about your life in New Orleans.
The Gedde family came to New Orleans in 1800. We worked very hard to get where we are. On the other hand, we've done a lot for this community.
I can believe that. You're doing a lot for me right now. Tell me more about New Orleans.
I'm afraid I don't get out into New Orleans society much. Because of the Gedde money, we have slots in the best country clubs and on the best Mardi Gras courts. But I must admit, I hate it. I avoid actually making an appearance unless it becomes absolutely necessary.
I know about those courts. They're very exclusive.
Yes, especially when it comes to people of my race. That's why we don't turn down the appointments. It's a rare opportunity to rub their noses in it. But that's not where I spend my time. I have more important things to do with my life.
That's admirable. Many women would love the chance to get caught up in that kind of life.
I'm not any kind of woman you might be familiar with.
Yes, I can see that. Tell me more about New Orleans.
I don't know what else you want to hear, Detective. Anything you might care to know about my public life you can easily look up in the papers.
Excuse me, but your eyes are really distracting. I don't think I've ever seen a color quite like that. Brownish gold. It's so deep and rich. Man, if I could bottle that, I'd make a fortune.
Thank you, Detective. That's an interesting observation, though probably not relevant to your case.
A good detective never knows what might be relevant, Miss Gedde.
Then you must be truly exceptional at your job.
Tell me about yourself.
I suppose I don't really have a choice. What do you want to know, Detective?
What kind of things interest you?
I don't have a lot of free time, but I do appreciate the arts. Opera, symphony, ballet, fine art. If you look around, you'll see that we collect African art, for example.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
It is, Detective. It means a great deal to me.
Do you have a career?
A career? Being the head of the Gedde family is a 24-hour-a-day job. We have many holdings and many responsibilities, financial and otherwise. The management of our business affairs and properties leaves me with time for little else.
Poor little rich girl?
Believe it or not, Detective, wealth does have its price.
Tell me about your family.
The Geddes? We're a very private family.
How many people are there in your family?
Well, my mother just passed away.
I am sorry.
So am I. She was a magnificent woman. We were very close. I was an only child.
And your father?
I never knew him.
It's hard to believe that any man would leave a woman like you. Or like your mother must have been.
He did not leave, Detective. But that's really none of your concern.
I'm sorry. Go on.
There are, of course, other Geddes in the city. I have a large, extended family.
I see. Do you have a husband? A boyfriend?
I'm very independent, Detective. The women in my family have always preferred it that way.
So, you've never been married?
No, and I never will be.
What about children?
Yes, that is likely. Someday.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I do a lot of charity work around the city, primarily in the prison and reform system. I'm not a professional sociologist, but it does interest me.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have a business degree from Vanderbilt. I wanted to study psychology, but my family's interests came first.
Oh? Why not something like law, then? Surely that would have been an asset to the family.
Law? Please, I do have some morals, Detective.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
For the record, I'm 28, Detective.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I have a few friends. A woman in my position can't really afford them.
I'd like to hear just about anything.
I try to stay away from the media as much as possible. Last year there was that story about John Kennedy Jr. and I. The phone didn't stop ringing for weeks. I prefer to keep my private life private. I would appreciate it if you would keep my name away from any public association with the police, Detective.
Of course. I wouldn't know where to begin.
As you wish, Detective.
I can't help noticing that you're in incredible shape, Miss Gedde. Your legs are so strong. Do you work out at one of the clubs by the lake?
Well, Detective, I do enjoy physical activity.
Oh, me too.
Actually, I was referring to swimming and modern dance. I can't say I do much exercising at the lake, though.
Oh, well, it was worth asking. A beautiful woman like you must know a lot of people in this city.
Well, I am on a number of boards, and I do a fair amount of charity work. But I have very little time for social activities. I'm really more of a recluse than you might imagine.
No, really? It's a tragedy to hide a light like yours under a bushel, Miss Gedde.
Your opinion is noted, Detective.
I'm not making many points here today, am I?
No, you're not.
Miss Gedde, Malia, there's something about you. You really touch me.
I almost believe you, Detective.
I wish you would. I've never been more sincere in my life.
Now that I can believe.
Could I see you again sometime? For coffee? Dinner?
Look, you seem like an interesting person, and I'm sure you have some fascinating stories to tell.
Storytelling is only one of my gifts.
But I'm afraid I'm quite unavailable at the moment. With my mother's recent death, I'm completely absorbed in the family business.
Are you sure you won't go out with me? I promise I'll be good.
It's really out of the question. I think this has gone on long enough. You're not really a detective, are you?
Who, me? Well, I am on this case, Miss Gedde.
I saw you at the lake yesterday. I thought you must be with the police since you were there, but you don't act like a police officer. Besides, I'm rather certain that the other man said his name was Mosely.
All right, you caught me. I'm not with the police. My name is Gabriel Knight. I'm a writer working with Detective Mosely on a book.
Well, Mr. Knight, now that we've established who you are, perhaps you can tell me the real reason you're here.
Well, I am researching the book, and I thought you might have seen or heard something at the lake.
I don't like liars, Mr. Knight.
Okay, you're right. I really just wanted to see you again. You can be mad at me if you want, but I swear I've never done anything like this before.
Mr. Knight, you've lied about your identity and wasted my time with meaningless questions. If it weren't vaguely flattering, I'd really be angry. You're lucky I don't call the real police. I think you should go, Mr. Knight.
Malia, wait. If you just give me a chance.
I've wasted enough time. I'll have Robert show you out. Robert? Show Mr. Knight out, please.
I most certainly will. Thank you very much. I had a lovely time. Ah, shit. Miss Gedde is busy, officer, and has instructed me to wish you good luck. That is all. If you'll just tell her, goodbye, sir.
The juggler looks like a beginner practicing the act. The juggler is busy. A lone drummer beats out a haunting rhythm on a large African drum. The drummer is unlikely to listen to Gabriel's suggestions about moving. The drummer is busy.
Does this mean anything to you?
The drummer looks blankly at Gabriel and continues his rhythm. An artist is taking advantage of the fine weather. Why be rude to the artist? It's a public park. The artist has a right to his bit of grass.
Nice drawing of the cathedral.
Thanks.
It's really precise.
Well, I'm an architectural student, actually. It's good practice.
Those drawing tools are amazing.
Yeah, they're great for laying lines, angles, circles, anything geometric. It's pretty meticulous, but I prefer it to freehand.
Can you draw anything with those tools?
They're great for ordered, complex forms and patterns, but they won't help me do Monet.
Do you mind if I watch you?
Be my guest.
Could I ask you some questions?
I'd rather not. I really get focused when I'm drawing.
Okay, fine. Say, do you think there's anything you can do with this pattern?
I'm a student. I don't take commissions.
Oh, sorry.
St. Louis Cathedral has a beautiful chapel, warm with tones of gold and cream and rich with delicate frescoes and meticulously carved wood. At least the cherubs are an aesthetic way of asking for donations. Rows of pews line each side of the nave's aisle. The chancel of St. Louis Cathedral consists of a raised dais, an altar, 2 pedestals, and a choir area. Flags of the world are displayed from the upper story. A promotion of the universal harmony, no doubt. There's no one to speak to in that part of the cathedral.
Hey, come back here! Hey!
The artist is off chasing his errant drawing. The artist would not appreciate Gabriel messing with his stuff while he's gone.
Oh, unbelievable. Rotten luck!
A bronze statue of Andrew Jackson marks the center of Jackson Square. A wrought iron fence surrounds the Jackson statue. There's her drawing caught up against the hedges. Gabriel can't reach the drawing from where he is. Gabriel can't bend the bars. He's too big to fit through them, and those spikes on top look sharp. A small boy is tap dancing enthusiastically for a lucky dog vendor. The vendor ignores him. Louisiana has child kidnapping laws. That would be, at the very least, illegal.
You dance pretty well for a kid.
Give me some money then.
I don't have any.
Don't block the view, mister.
Do you do requests?
Got any money?
No.
Something to eat?
No.
There you have it. No.
Interrogating the little boy wouldn't be very useful. A lucky dog vendor has set up business in the square. The lucky dog vendor has his nose buried in a paperback novel. Gabriel noticed that it is not, big surprise, one of his. The vendor wouldn't appreciate that.
Could I get a lucky dog, please?
Not now, I'm busy.
An unambitious person? In the 90s? Amazing.
Hello, are you selling lucky dogs or not?
The vendor ignores Gabriel entirely.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yep, I mind all right.
Why?
Because A, I don't know anything, and B, I'm busy.
Oh. I have this gift certificate.
I'm busy.
It's good for $20 at St. George's Books, finest bookstore in New Orleans.
Really? I'll have to check it out sometime.
You could take this gift certificate with you, if you'll give me a lucky dog.
A lucky dog for a $20 gift certificate? Well, sure. Here you go.
The lucky dog is plump and juicy. Although the mustard is teasingly poured into a patterned-like shape, Gabriel's eyes can make no sense of it.
I'm hungry, but not for that. You wouldn't like a lucky dog by any chance?
Would I? Thanks, mister. You got any special requests? Let me know.
You mentioned something about special requests?
Yeah. You got one?
Can you do the Nutcracker Suite in D minor?
Say what?
Oh, never mind. How about When the Saints Go Marching In?
Sure. Hey guys, Saints!
You got it, kid.
That was great. Thanks.
No problem, mister.
Could you do Saints again?
Yeah, okay. Guys,
Hit it!
Can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay then.
You mentioned something about special requests?
Yeah. You got one?
Can you fit through the bars around the statue?
Can I? Just watch me.
Good. There's something in there I can't quite reach. Come on. Can you reach that piece of paper?
Sure thing. Here you go. Yep. See ya.
It's a technical drawing of St. Louis Cathedral. There's nothing written on the drawing.
It's better than most postcards I've seen. How's it going?
Well, life sucks. I just lost 2 days' worth of work.
What you working on now?
Just starting another drawing of the cathedral.
This belongs to you, doesn't it?
My drawing? How'd you get it?
Oh, it was a bit of a squeeze, but I hate to see you lose your work. I lost my only copy of a manuscript once.
Well, you saved my butt. Let me know if I can ever do the same for you, huh?
Say, do you think there's anything you can do with this pattern?
What do you need?
Is there any way you can reconstruct the whole pattern from this partial?
The pattern is probably circular, and there's some repetition in the elements. What is this from, anyway?
You'd never believe me.
Okie dokie. Well, I might be able to reconstruct the pattern if I had more data, but this is just one small area of it. If you could get me any more of these, it would help.
I'll see what I can do. What else do you need to do that reconstruction?
Some more parts of that pattern would be helpful.
I'll see what I can do.
Gabriel decides to give Mosely a break and not change the temperature again.
Hey, bud. You! Last time I looked.
Give me my badge right now.
Oh, is that why you're so excited? If you knew what I needed it for.
I'm sure it was to impress a woman. You could have asked. Do you know how embarrassing it is to admit your badge was stolen? I had a photo with the chief, and he wanted me wearing it. I should lock you up, Knight.
I suppose you could. Seems to me, though, there was that time you borrowed my bike without mentioning it. Right from in front of my shop.
Yeah, don't remind me. Just don't do it again. Whew, it's hot in here.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
What's the status on the Voodoo Murders case?
You're as filled in as me.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Is she that red-headed chick that works at Freddy's?
No.
Then I don't know her.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
I told you, I don't know her.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Animal masks? You mean like those Halloween masks they sometimes use in robberies?
I don't think so. More like real animals.
Never ran across anything like that.
Do you know anything about the patterns around the bodies?
Yeah, weird, huh? All 7 victims had those little marks around them. We got all the marks on file, but we haven't figured out what, if anything, they mean.
Can I see the other 6 patterns?
Sure. People like that kind of stuff, don't they? Might make the book seem more mysterious. Go talk to Officer Franks. Tell her I said you could see the file.
It's a file cabinet. Gabriel wouldn't be allowed to access that file cabinet.
Excuse me, officer.
Yes?
Can you get a file for me?
What file would that be?
The Voodoo Murders file? Detective Mosely said I could see it.
Really? Well, if he said so. There it is. You can look at it all you want, but don't leave this area with it, okay? And no photocopies either, I'm afraid.
Of course. I understand completely.
It's the official police file, containing the partial patterns from the Voodoo Murders. The folder is marked with the warning, not to leave the police station. The police file contains partial patterns from the first 6 voodoo murders.
Norman Mailer, eat your heart out.
Don't leave the room with that file, please. I told you, you can't photocopy official police files.
Right. Sorry. I forgot. I'm done.
Yeah, thanks.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
I got those photographs you left for me.
So you said. Did you think of any other shots for the book?
Let's take another cop author shot.
What for?
I don't think we got your best side.
Really? Okay. I'll have Franks come in again. Franks, come back in here with that camera.
Now what, sir?
That clown wants another picture. You don't mind, do you?
Of course not. What else could I possibly have to do?
Anything else, Knight?
Hold on a sec while I go check my hair.
Good God, Knight, make it fast.
Let me see that file again. Just want to check this machine here.
Officer Frank would not be amused to see Gabriel carrying that file. It's an inbox.
Looking good, kid.
Would you just get in here? Hurry up, would you?
Okay, ready.
Thanks, hon. Let me know when you got it developed. The photos, that is.
Yeah, sure.
I'll let you get back to it.
Ciao, baby.
Gabriel has a photocopy of the official police file containing the partial patterns from the Voodoo Murders.
I have some more of those patterns.
Really? Let's see. Yeah, these are great. I think there's enough overlap now. I'll give it my best shot. I'll show you what I come up with tomorrow.
Great. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you need to do that reconstruction?
I think I have enough now, thanks.
Lucy, home.
Oh, joy.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I need you to look up a Madame Cazaunoux.
Madame Cazaunoux? Is she related to the murders the same way your friend, Malia Gedde, was?
Grace, Cazaunoux is at least 70.
As if that makes a difference to you. Okay, I'll see what I can find. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. It's time to close shop.
So it is. Have a nice night.
You too. See you tomorrow.